Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This is the second installment of my Christmas edition, and I'm going to show you how I made the little box that my lazy elf that was in my last video sat on top of. I hope you enjoy it and I hope you have a great Christmas. I'm Janine and this is Bows and Mosey Cake Swap. Okay, to assemble the cake I used a 4-inch cake board, and on the bottom of that I put a good coat of white chocolate ganache. Now I can start layering my cake. I'm using a gingerbread cake, and on top of that I'm putting a beautiful brandy simple syrup. On top of that I'm coating it with a delicious brown sugar Swiss meringue buttercream. Yum. This cake was really moist, and as you can see it's cracked a little bit, but nothing that can't be fixed. Layer upon layer, doing the same thing. Another brush of that brandy syrup, and there we go. I put another 4-inch board on top, and I check all the corners to make sure it's even or if we have any overhang. In this case we did have a little bit, so I've sliced that off. Yum, look at that. A hint of what it's going to look like when it's cut. Check it again, a little bit more there, and off we go. Okay, so now I put a layer of white chocolate ganache onto the top and try to make it reasonably even. Put that board back on top and try to make all the sides even. Then I add my first coat of ganache to keep those nasty crumbs from getting out. Into the fridge for 10 minutes, and in we come for coat number 2. Now we're really building it up to make it a real boxy sort of shape. Smooth out all those edges once again. Oh, bit more overhang that I didn't catch before. Easy fixed. And back in the fridge for another 10 minutes. Coat number 3. This is a nice thick coat to finish it off and get everything nice and even. Bit of crackage at the top there meant that I didn't have quite enough ganache on the top to make it even, but that's fixed later too. Okay, so I chill it again, take a sharp, hot blade, run it under that top cake board, pop it off. On goes ganache, back onto the top, and we start evening that out. Scraping. Yes, I use the spirit level, I get a bit pedantic. And there we go, we have our ganache cake ready to sit overnight. Then it's on to making the fondant panels. Okay, so I've taken an ivory piece of fondant, and those things that I put on the side are just acrylic rulers, and by putting them there it's sort of like a rolling guide, so it makes the fondant a lot more even. They all end up the same thickness, which is what I want. Smooth that out, and then I took those same rulers and I made little lines with my Dresden tool to give it a wood panelled sort of look. Took that Dresden tool again, and started etching little lines in to make it look more like wood grain. I took that 4-inch board that I'd used, it wasn't actually the one I'd used, it was a spare one, and I slightly overshot the measurements because as they dry, they shrink. So don't forget, make sure you overshoot a little. Once they were dried, I took some gel colour in ivory and some Decorator's Rose Spirit and painted them all up. Brings out all the detail then. Set them aside for a little bit to dry. And now I got this cool stamp from my local craft store, and I fashioned a stamp pad out of a clean sponge and some black gel food colour, and on they went. It's the little details that really count. Couple of different designs, and there are our panels all ready to go. Okay, so to apply our panels I now have our set cake, and I'm adding a little bit of ganache to each side and just pressing it lightly up onto the cake. Now you'll see why I overshot in just a second. I'm taking my straight blade and I'm running it flush down next to the cake, and that makes for a nice even panel. Get a good clean box shape by the time you're done. Do the same thing for all 4 sides. making sure that you use your straight edge blade. You can just use a razor blade, a normal razor blade, to cut down those edges and even them all up. Do the same thing on the top once you're done, keeping it nice and flush and level with the cake, and slicing it across like so, making it nice and even. Okay, so I've taken some of that gel food color that I'd used before, and when you slice it off, of course, you've got some exposed bits of fondant, so I'm just painting those in so that you can't see them anymore. Adding a little bit of dark sections here, there, and everywhere to add a bit of dimension, and then on with the top of the box. I do the same thing, slice it all, and voila, we have our box for our elf to sit on. Now, I didn't show you putting him on. All I did was put a little bit of ganache under his buttocks and popped him on, and he sat really firmly. I hope you enjoyed this video, guys, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Have a fantastic, safe Christmas, and I'll see you in the new year. Thank you for all of your support in 2018.